Hello everyone, my name is Rob, welcome to Castleford Rugby League. In this video I'll be giving you my Super League Round 10 predictions. So unfortunately last week I got 3 out of 6, that's my joint worst week, but I will take it as a bare minimum provided, it's just 50%. So far on the season I've got 75.93% of games correct, or that's winners anyway. But yeah, pretty poor week, a few very strange results in there, but we'll crack on with the first game, which is going to be an absolute banger. So kicking things off in round 10, we have Wigan Warriors versus Catalans Dragons, starting with a few key stats at the moment. Wigan sit in 3rd, Catalans sit in 2nd on the Super League ladder. In terms of recent form in Super League, Wigan have won 3 of their last 5 games, Catalans have won 4 of their last 5 games, and in terms of my current power rankings, I have Wigan in 1st, Catalans in 3rd. Looking at player availability, Liam Byrne should be available on the side of Wigan. And for Catalans, Mike McMeekin should be back. Players out at the moment still include Takiaho, Mahu Zenon, Abdul, McLaurin and Desiree. So, yeah, quite a few key names out there for Catalans. That's one reason why I'm kind of leaning towards Wigan at the moment. Some people might look at the recent results for Catalans, and I'm certainly looking at it as a very inconsistent team. Some people might want to point out the result against Hull Kingston Rovers. I would say it's certainly not as bad. Well, it's definitely not as bad as a result that Catalans incurred. People would then look at the result the week before, that they had that sort of dominant game. Catalans had the performance that they had against Warrington a few weeks ago as well. But then you throw in the performance against Huddersfield as well, and it's all over the place for Catalans. So I don't really trust them in this game. I think if it was someone more towards the middle of the pack, I'd be a bit more confident, but there's still no guarantee that they would have been safe in that game, given the results over the last 4 or 5 weeks. They've still been really strong in Super League, but yeah, just the results have been all over the place for Catalans. And you look at the players on paper for Wigan, if they're firing, if they're at their best, or even if they're just half decent, they've got players to just be completely devastating all over the park. And Wigan, their result against Hull KR, performance wasn't particularly great, but over the last couple of weeks have still been extremely strong, even though Catalans are still technically the better informed team in Super League. Wigan, just for me, are still clearly the better team, but results-wise, because both have their issues, but both have major strengths, this will be really competitive. But I'm leaning towards the cherry and whites at the moment. So I'm going to go with Wigan Warriors 20, Catalans Dragons 16. Next up, we have Huddersfield Giants versus Salford Red Devils. Starting with some of the key stats. The Giants sit in 7th on the ladder. Salford sit in 6th. In terms of recent form, the Giants and Red Devils have both won 3 in their last 5 Super League games. And in terms of my power rankings, I have the Giants in 6th and Salford in 8th at the moment. In terms of player availability, Jack Murchie, who isn't even a regular for the Giants, as far as I'm aware, is going to be available, but Savelio, Hill, Levette and Masters all unavailable at the moment. Sam Stone would be available for Salford, but Hankinson, Singleton, Borrett and Vuniayo are all unavailable at the moment. Both these teams in a weird position at the moment, very similar, I feel. Consistency is a big issue for both of these teams. Granted, the Giants have put in some slightly stronger performances. They've allowed momentum to shift a lot in games, though, which is a big issue for them. And Salford can really feed off that. When Salford has momentum, they're playing on the front foot, my God, they're dangerous. They've got reliable players in Briley, in Cust, in Sneed. They can really start taking the fight to teams. So I think the Giants will be slightly more comfortable in this game. Results-wise, I think it's going to be a close one. I think the Giants will look okay at first, but they'll allow momentum to shift, and then that's when Salford will really start to fight back into the game and make it a close one. I just think overall the Giants are just doing enough right now for me to lean towards them as the winners in this one. But I think this is going to be an exceptionally close game. But I will also put it out there that I would not be surprised if Salford won this one. But I'm going to go with Huddersfield Giants 16, Salford Red Devils 14. Next up, we have Leeds Rhinos versus London Broncos, starting with a few key numbers. Leeds are currently in 8th on the Super League ladder. London are in 12th. In terms of recent form in Super League, Leeds have won 2 in their last 5 games. London have won 0 in their last 5. They've won 0 all season. In terms of my power rankings at the moment, I have Leeds down in 9th, London back down in 12th. In terms of player availability, Ash Handley is 50-50 for this week. Harry Newman is also questionable. We'll have to see how he goes. And players out include Gannon, Bentley, Holroyd, Donaldson, Momirovski. They're all to be confirmed in terms of when they come back. And Fussatua is out for a very long time. On the side of London, there's Bainek, not sure how you pronounce it, and Natoli would potentially be available for them. And Dean Peratta, who's a key player, is out at the moment for the Broncos. Leeds, man, what a weird, shocking, abysmal, boring performance that was against Hull FC. It was really bad. I back them to get some astronomical scoreline. I will not be doing that again, even though somehow I just know they're going to be world class and completely demolish the Broncos. Based on the intel and everything I can take in from the last few weeks, I think the Broncos will put up some points. I don't think they'll allow Leeds to just completely demolish them, get in like the 40 or 50 point range. Leeds don't feel like a team to me that's capable of that after their performance last week. The biggest positive for them was Riley Lum. What an exceptional effort that was from him. Absolutely excellent. All over the park, or well, in all departments anyway that he could get involved in. Excellent performance from him. But if they do have Ash Handley back and Harry Newman, it gives them much better penetration and strike down that right-hand side, with Harry Newman especially, and having Ash Handley back on the left would be, really important for them, because this Leeds team, I mean, this might sound like a bit of a weird statement, this Leeds team, like, they need their full team available, like, their best team out there, because if they start losing a few key players, like one or two, then there are real issues when they have to mix things up, and they aren't really dealing with those very well. So I think with a few mix-ups still in there, and a few deficiencies with, not knowing what they want to do on the last tackle, I think London could really take the fight to them through the middle of the park like Hull FC did, really jam up to them quickly, have that quick defensive line speed, put them under pressure, especially in the kicking game. Matt Frawley has been abysmal in his kicking game. And if they can do a few weird things, keep going for 40-20s, keep pinning Leeds back, I think they can come up with some points. But overall, Leeds, I think, should probably be fine. So I'm going to go with Leeds Rhinos 28, London Broncos 10. Next up, we have Warrington Wolves versus Hull FC, starting with league position. Warrington sit in 4th, Hull FC sits in 11th. In terms of recent form in Super League, Warrington have won 3 in their last 5 Super League games. Hull FC have won 0 in their last 5 Super League games. In terms of power rankings, Warrington sit in 5th and Hull FC sit in 11th for me at the moment. For player availability, Zane Musgrove is questionable, so we'll kind of have to see about this week. Matty Ashton should be back in, and Wrench and Hayes are both going to be out. Not sure how long for Leon Hayes. I think we have to wait and see. Jake Truman should be available for this week, and Cam Scott will also be available for selection. Fash, Vulka Chapani and Tuma Vave are all unavailable at the moment for Hull FC. Warrington, last couple of weeks, shaky performances. I don't think they'll have too much trouble in this game. I can certainly see them conceding points because Hull FC's performance indicated to me that there's some life in that team, and there are some issues with Warrington defensively down that right-hand side. If Matty Russell was going to be playing, like if Matty Ashton was going to be out for another week, or at least I thought he was going to be, and it was Matty Russell playing down that left-hand side, then I'd maybe say a few more points for Hull FC kicking into that corner, and a few kicks into the in-goal area would trouble him. But I think Matty Ashton will be okay with King over on that left-hand side. Warrington, one of the best attacking teams in the league. I can imagine putting up a decent number of points here. So I don't think they'll put up... I don't think they'll allow Hull FC to get the donut and get 0 points. But I think Warrington will be comfortable in this game. I always talk about Hull FC's forward pack. I think Warrington's is just more efficient in their production. They get more post-contact meters. They get more... I think it's Leigh has the most offloads, or he's definitely up there for offloads. But they're just more effective. They drag more players. They get quicker play the balls through the middle. They just seem to control that a lot better. And Hull FC had a decent performance. Their defensive line speed was good against Leeds. And if they put George Williams under pressure, if they put Josh Drinkwater under pressure, who's obviously going to be potentially really rusty after a good month, month and a half, 2 months out. I can't even remember how long it's been now, but after a little while out, he could be rusty. Unless they go with Sam Powell at number 7, they might always choose to do that. But yeah, I think Warrington should be pretty comfortable in this game. So I'm going to go with Warrington Wolves 32, Hull FC 10. Next up, we have Hull Kingston Rovers versus St Helens. Starting with league position, Hull KR sit in 5th, Saints sit in 1st on the ladder. In terms of recent form, they've both won 4 in their last 5 Super League games. And for power rankings, Hull KR sit in 4th, Saints sit in 2nd. For player availability, Tom Opicic should be available for Hull KR, but Ben Reynolds is still suspended at the moment. For Saints, Lewis Dodd should be available for selection, but Passy and Walmsley both unavailable at the moment still. I have a gut feeling that this is just going to be a very back and forth game. That it's going to be try from Hull KR, try from Saints, try from Hull KR, try from Saints. It's just back and forth, back and forth. And no one's really going to have the chance to get that 2-try edge over anyone else. But I just think, I get the feeling that at home, the crowd's going to be so up for it. The intent that Hull KR is going to play with, and the fact that they're coming out the blocks quicker the last few weeks, compared to Saints have been really slow out of the blocks early on. Hull KR are going to be the ones to put up the points first, but then they'll start to match each other. Hull KR put up the points first, then Saints come in, Hull KR respond. Saints come in, Hull KR respond. So I think it's just going to be a case of try, easy 2 points. I think this will be a proper slugfest, just back and forth punches between these two teams. Because both aren't without issues. In attack, when they're firing, both are brilliant. And I'm expecting, if Lewis Dodd comes back in, a little bit more control, a little more clarity over what St Helens want to do. But I think just that the fortress of having to go to Hull KR is a big issue, and Saints haven't been without problems over the last couple of weeks. So as I said, it's going to be a bit back and forth, but I think that early start from Hull KR will really set the tone for them. And again, if there's some issues with the pitch conditions, Hull KR are going to be more suited to it, and we'll kind of understand just a few nuances with how to use it, and especially the kicking game as well will be important in that regard. So I'm going to go with Hull Kingston Rovers 24, St Helens 18. Finally for this round we have Leigh Leopards versus Castleford Tigers. Starting with league position, Leigh sits in 9th, Castleford sit in 10th. In terms of recent form, both have won 2 in their last 5 Super League games. And in terms of power rankings, I have Leigh in 7th and Castleford in 10th. For player availability, Ipape and Mulhern should both be available this week after injuries and whatnot. Wild, Brand, O'Brien, Nakabue and Norman all unavailable at the moment. And on the side of Castleford, George Griffin and Luke Hooley should both be available for selection. And then you have Kerry, Mustafa, Lawler, Sim, Nemo, Johnson and Tassapale all unavailable for selection for Castleford Tigers at the moment. I'm really liking what Castleford's doing, and I'm liking the kind of consistency in points that they've been putting up the last couple of weeks. They look like a much stronger attacking outfit. Defensively, they'll still have their issues in there, aside from the fact that they held London to 0 points, which is an incredible effort from anybody to do against anybody. I do think Leigh's form at the moment, I think they were unfortunate not to get a win against Warrington, and then that dominant performance against Catalans was tremendous. I think Leigh will be fairly comfortable in this game, but it won't be without some real attacking oomph from the Tigers. Defensively, I think they'll still struggle, the Tigers, and will concede a hefty chunk of points because Leigh's really firing at the moment. And, if they've got their full spine ready to go, it could be a spicy one for Leigh, and maybe even put up more points than I'm about to predict. But I think these are two teams that are on the up right now, but Leigh are just the stronger of the two. This is an unfortunate one for Castleford, I think, because if it was someone else, if it was against Leeds, or maybe even Huddersfield that have had their inconsistencies, then I think there's a win in there. Or even if it was against London again, obviously it wouldn't be back-to-back, or if it was against Hull FC, then I think they really could have kicked on again, but this is against a Leigh team that's really on the up right now over the last couple of weeks. So they're one of the worst teams that they could have played right now. So I do think Castleford's going to lose this one, but I do expect them to still put in a very respectable performance and something that hopefully Castleford fans will be proud of at least. So I'm going to go with Leigh Leopards 28, Castleford Tigers 14. So that's going to be it for my round 10 predictions. In terms of confidence, I'm at about 85% in terms of winners' confidence. There's a few games that could go the other way. I think obviously Saints could beat Hull, Kingston Rovers. Catalans could beat Wigan. Salford could beat the Giants. Like, it's a bit up in the air, but I'm still fairly confident in leading the way that I have. But yeah, if you do have your own predictions, do let me know in the comments down below. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.